Hey, it got dark in your room.
Yeah, somebody redeemed fireworks.
Okay, there we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, warshippers of all ages, welcome to the losers bracket final here in Warship Masters Invitational 2024. We're looking at TSYMQ here in the green. They are fielding. We have a Yu-Yang, double Yu-Yang. Let's see, let's have a peek. Both radar Yangs. We got James Wu here on the right. Radar and Dazzle. We got Yalwin on the other end of the line. Basically, from more or less the same build. In
Other
the middle,
than enhanced
Wenrow's,
survivability, yep.
Yep, Wenrow's Druid, backed up by a 4-cruiser lineup. We're looking at triple Hindenburg.
Hey.
We've got Yeku's Hindi here, unique upgrade, top grade gunner. Very similar build out of Panda, although he's running heavy HE as well. And Nuoli also, all 3 Hindenburgs running unique upgrade. Nuoli here also running outnumbered instead of top grade gunner. And a flagship, FLS's Conde. We've seen this before, going for rudder, heavy HE, gun reload, and engine protection. What is TWA bringing? That's our first look at them this event.
Yeah, worthy to note, too, that's the last time TSYMQ can bring the Conde. It is now expired for them after this battle. Yes, indeed, it's our first look at TWA in the losers bracket. Who would have thought? Let's take a look at this driver in the Grozovoy heading straight for a full speeding it and turning now. Putting up a smoke screen. He's trying to make it so that Point and the Goliath and especially Kaistis' Moskva don't get detected as they move their way into this position. So anyway, he's got a very utility build, Grozovoy, right, with radio location, superintendent, all that good stuff. Behind him is Point and a Goliath that usually signals that is the kite side, but TWA is putting a Moskva over this way too. So Point's got top grade gunner with full reload build. Kaistis' Moskva coming up towards a safe space there that's been put together by Striver's brilliantly executed smoke. You feel like they've practiced that a little bit, Raptor. In training room for a few hours probably. Kaistis in the Moskva now with unique upgrade going through that smoke. He's gonna be in a brilliant position. Put the circle up. You can see to radar both A and B. Marcelo Pello in the Janan with a full gun build Janan. Burn all the things and do as much damage as possible. Over on the other side, Kinimad, K-Suk is working his way towards the C-cap with the Wushta. Now this is a gun reload build with top grade gunner and outnumbered. Kenny Mod is one of those people that you just simply can't kill, so it makes sense to have him in that kind of build. Vile 9 is in the Yu-Yang. This is a torpedo spec smoke spec Yu-Yang. Obviously going to work with the Wushta together, and then we've got British moving in the Lushun to the C-cap with radio location and pretty much all the typical fixins you'd see on a Lushun. Woof, took a while to get through.
Indeed, the Moskva up at the A-cap getting picked up early. We see TSYMQ going for a fairly traditional 4-3 split. One of the things about Riposte, though, this map is small. The caps are close together. It plays very quickly, and things can change in a hurry.
That's right.
It's shocking the number of times we've seen crazy stuff happen on this map in a short order.
Speaking of shocking,
Druid getting just hammered early. Now that's going to draw out the radar from Christus.
That's right. No hiding place.
To maybe get back behind cover.
And he's stuck bowing. There ain't no cover for him. He doesn't have his Hydro going. He's about to be reminded he's got Hydro.
He is going to dodge the torpedoes here. He's going to take another big chunk from Point's Goliath.
Both of his turrets are currently broken.
Yep. Gonna get those back, still on fire.
He's dead. He can't even DCP this. He's dead.
No, the fire burned out.
Whoa, never mind.
The fire, it was a full duration fire, but the blind fire from Point, knowing where he is, dumping shells in there, big first kill for TWA.
That's an example of why I always recommend people, if they're playing competitive destroyer, you take the fire reduction flag in a destroyer. You need that fire to burn out as quickly as possible. Great kill by Point.
That said, Kaistis' Moskva is not exactly feeling amazing back here. He's been through a heal and a DCP. He's already down to below a third of his HP. Marcelo's just swinging up to bring him some smoke as well. On the south flank, look at Pandazaf. I think he took some torpedoes or something. Damn.
Yeah,
what happened here?
Deep waters from Vile, I would imagine. Vile has used his torpedo reload booster, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's what did it. Interesting that Panda had his hydro going and still took those torpedoes if that's the case. Oh, British also with the torpedoes. I'll bet you these guys are really good at triangulating torpedoes. Exactly.
Yes. Yeah, they're great at cross-torping. They might have pinned him between some deep waters, and he couldn't avoid them all.
Yeah, this is one of the things that after casting games so much, we can kind of deduce that kind of stuff. So apologies for missing it, as Marcelo takes a deep water torp himself, and he's going to back into more torpedoes.
Yeah.
Marcelo's backing into a second. Ooh, so DCP's down too.
It's going to be a big kill there for TSYMQ. They're down a cat, but claiming back a kill, trying to keep Panda in the game. AP salvo going in on Kinney's Wooster. They caught a glimpse of him back there on the side of the smoke. Nothing doing.
Yeah, Kinney knows better than to stay in the smoke. He's staying behind the smoke. But worthy of note too, the Hindenburgs don't care about Moss's 50mm armor, and you can see what happened to that Mossfa. Unfortunately for TSYMQ, they weren't able to convert the kill, but they've definitely beaten him down to the point where Keistis is calling in friends to ensure he doesn't die.
Now the farming begins on Nuoli's Hindenburg. Doesn't feel like the Hindenburg unique module's making that big of a difference right now, does it, Seth?
No. And you remember what that does, right?
I do. It's honestly, it's one of the weakest, most I'm gonna be brutal here for a minute. One of the most worthless unique upgrades in all of Warships, and I keep wondering why they don't do something with it.
What makes it worthless, sir?
Hindenburg, the ship does not like sustained fire. It doesn't want to be continually shot at, and that module rewards you for being continually shot at. So why would you why?
It encourages you.
Confused screaming.
So
right?
for those of you who don't know what this does, you have 50% to main battery repair time. So if your main battery goes out, it comes back 50% quicker. 40% to fire extinguishing time. So if you're on fire, you know that fire burns out quicker, essentially. 70% to flooding recovery time, which, hey, I get it. If you're worried about all these deep water torpedoes and cross torps, that really helps a lot. And then 20% to rudder shift time makes it easier to kind of turn the ship a little bit. But you're right, Hindenburg, the problem with Hindenburg isn't fire or flood. The problem with Hindenburg is just getting shot at.
Yes.
Continually.
Yes. So the unique upgrade module just doesn't get you. It does. So many other unique upgrade modules in World of Warships, they take something on the ship that it desperately needs and gives it to them, let's say.
Yes.
You look at something like gearing. What does gearing need? Gearing needs just a little more stealth. And guess what the unique module does? Bam, more stealth.
That's right, at the expense of gun.
That kind of thing. At the expense of a little bit of gun power. And most gearing players in certain situations will take that trade. And it works out.
Now,
Hindenburg doesn't need this, so why?
And now on top of that, it takes away slot 5, the concealment module. Now the concealment isn't as important, but people forget the concealment comes with a 5% debuff to dispersion of shells being shot at it. In other words, Hindenburg is taking more hits from people that know how to accurately aim at it. Because they go to the unique upgrade.
For
1
Panda.
HP.
That was hilarious.
And British takes him down.
The game is all but over. They've pushed TSYMQ off all the caps. It's a 2-ship lead for TWA.
TSYMQ looked very strong at the beginning, had some amazing shots. Unfortunately, their druid got completely surprised and farmed out.
Yep. And, stuck bow in as a destroyer is never a place you want to be. They can see the Yu Yang here. Is it going to matter? They weren't able to get the resets. There they finally get them.
Yep. And TSYMQ down to 4 ships remaining, 3 over at A, 1 just running as fast as possible on the 10 line.
I have a hard time imagining a world where they don't murder Yalwin's Yang on the 10 line at some point. I think they're going to send James around the corner to just try to assassinate Keistis. Yep, it's coming. We're going to get a close pass here.
Striver with the Grozovoi trying to stop this.
Going to keep the modules up. They're trying to in-cap the torpedoes to try and prevent this.
Well, and they took out They took out his engine, so that slows him down. The thing, though, is James was shooting at the Grozavoy, so now he's got to turn his torpedoes all the way around. Takes a little extra time. Does get the shot off.
Does get the shots in the water, but he's going to die. There he goes. So it's a trade. That's the best thing that TWA could have hoped for, frankly.
And unfortunately, it's probably also almost the best thing that TSYMQ could have hoped for, too. Although Striver...
Without the Grozavoy there pitching in, they would have had an opportunity to possibly get that for free. But no, it's clearly not happening now. They do bag Striver, but again, it's going to be too little too late here for TSYMQ to recover from this. Yep. As spread out as TWA is, TSYMQ just simply doesn't have enough health on the board. There goes the Hindenburg, and that leaves literally the Conde as the last survivor.
Well, they paid dearly for that Conde, and that flagship survives for now, at least, to save a star.
They got value out of him, but in the end of the day, it's just not going to be enough.
Yeah. Now, this is their second use of Conde. Someone in chat was saying, wait a minute, is this a forfeit? Should not be a forfeit because this is their second time using a Conde, and they can take a Conde twice.
Yep, FLS sails out of the cap, knows it's over, not going to drag things out, going to let him go ahead and take up over 1,000 points. Game 1 to TWA.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, the negotiations were brief, Raptor.
They were very aggressive negotiations, Zaf. Yes, they were. Very sad. I'm sad to see Hindenburgs get manhandled this way, but I'm gonna say now, I'm gonna do something at the end of this whole thing. When this match is clipped, I'm gonna write. You know, one of the things we've talked about with Bogsy before, right? They want when we see stuff, when we have opinions about things that need to get looked at. This is going to go to Bogsy with a write-up about why Hindenburg's unique upgrade needs to be seriously revamped, because it doesn't do the thing it's supposed to do, which is let the ship survive against fires and HE. It doesn't. So it's trash. And this game is like an example, right? Very sad. Makes me sad. As a Hindenburg enjoyer, Zach, it makes me sad.
Yes, indeed.
All right, TWA game 1, going to game 2. Let's see, going back to hotspot. That's interesting. I'm curious. Okay, so Hannibal is. We're being told in streamers chat that was actually TSYMQ's third usage of Conde, so that meant the game was a forfeit.
I'm looking at this flagship status, and it shows they used Conde once.
Apparently, they didn't update it. Yeah, okay. So we saw TSYMQ play Conde earlier today. That was their second time.
I see it now. I refreshed.
That was their third time. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So technically a forfeit. There you go. Makes me wonder why we aren't checking lineups at this stage, but what do I know?
Yeah. That's. I wouldn't have expected TSYMQ to make that kind of mistake, so that's interesting to see that happened. Now remember, we cannot see the team chats. We can't see what people are typing in the game. Obviously, it was called out at the very start of the game, and both teams said, "Well, we'll just finish it for the sake of the cast." But let's just get this over with, and that's kind of what we saw happen. So TWA was going to win no matter what. I appreciate TWA saying, "You know what? Let's just play the game out anyway."
Sure.
So that was cool.
What I'm getting at is that there have been times in these kinds of events where we have lineup restrictions. That before a game drops, a mod or a ref will hop into the team and check. A ref and check the lineup and go, yes, that's a legal lineup. I'm curious that we're here at the very end of the tournament and on the big streams for everybody, and we're not doing that. That surprises me a little bit.
But you would think at this point, like I said, I'm surprised it happened. Like you'd think at this point, this level of play, teams would have had caught that. But
Yeah.
it is what it is.
My chat is asking which two servers these teams are from. TSYMQ is the last remaining Chinese team in the tournament, and TWA a long-standing competitive team from the EU server.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's interesting to see TWA going back to their name TWA because they were TWA, they were Band CV, they were Penta.
They were Penta for a long time. Yeah, at least 2 or 3 events. I think Penta was because they were being sponsored, weren't they?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and then I'm thinking there's one other name too that I can't. It'll escape me right now. They like to change their names.
I think they did have another iteration in there. I think it was like the very last King of the Sea or the iteration before they had changed their name again, and then now they're back to TWA.
And that's the King of the Sea where they got defeated by Rain.
Correct.
So I wonder if that's why they changed their name back so that they can forget about that one.
Let's go look. Actually, I probably have those games in my channel. Let me go have a look. It would be King of the Sea 16. Let's have a peek. No, I didn't do the international of that one. Let's try.
Okay.
Let's try 15. Just for grins. Just to have a peek and see if I'm crazy.
3X, that's the name. I got it.
3X.
Yeah, and this is where Rain defeated 3X in the losers bracket final, and then went on to defeat Shaft in the grand final. Shaft defeated 3X, and Rain defeated 3X, and there's where TSYMQ showed up. So I mean, these are guys. This is King of the Sea 16. This is the fall.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
all of this has happened before.
And all of this will happen again. King of the Sea 15, they were still playing as Penta. You're correct. Mm-hmm. It's 16 that they had changed to 3X. That is, you got it. We've got our timelines correct now.
This is what happens. This is what happens when your streamers are lazy and don't remove the old bookmarks and just keep adding to that stupid folder. Like I've got so many bookmarks of various tournament pages from previous and link collections. Well, what might as well just leave it. It's easy to get to if we need to. But
I don't have a bookmark, but I just know that I can go to tournament and do a search for King of the Sea, and they'll all just come right up, and I just got to click the right one, right?
Okay, that's a smart idea too. I didn't think about that.
Yep, dirt simple.
All right.
All right. Well, we're just chilling around, waiting for these guys to get ready as we head to hotspot for game 2.
That's right.
I'm still surprised we aren't checking lineups. Like I still look at that and go, record scratch? Like, that little in your brain, like what?
Right.
But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, they're probably unlikely to implement that rule now. It's a little too late, but I am surprised.
Well, yeah. But, I mean, we've established that these teams have been competitive before, and they've played... So, it'd be, honestly, to make a rookie mistake like that, you just don't expect it. So, it is what it is. I appreciate that both teams went and played it off anyways.
Sure.
And we move on. It was a quick game. And at this point now, it's up to TSYMQ to bring it back. So, no biggie.
Snack time. Sorry. Gonna bust open another one of these Cliff Bars.
I was thinking of doing the same. I think I might hold until we do our break in between. But, yeah.
Well, we'll see. I'm at least gonna steal a bite of it.
That works. TSYMQ is already they know what they want to do on hotspot. TWA is missing one person who's probably writing up a ship or something.
I guess if you're TSYMQ, the big question becomes: do you give these guys the same look you just showed to them, an hour and a half ago, an hour ago?
I wouldn't want to, but at the same time,
I wouldn't want to either.
At the same time, want to versus doing is two different things. So
Very much so.
you know, TWA, part of what makes them such great players and a great team is that they are great at having their own plan, but they're really good at reacting to what enemy ships will do. They can see a lineup and know exactly what they're going to do in 5 minutes from now, where they'll be on the map. And they've also experienced the game so much and practiced so much, they know how long it takes to move from one part of the map to another part of the map. And that's a huge amount of information for any team to do. So they know they can rotate quickly enough, they know they can step on a cap with enough time to stop the point gain, etc., etc., etc.
Yep.
Very similar to how 07 used to be back in their heyday.
All right, teams are here and ready, so I'm sure at this point we're just waiting on the official cast.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Looking forward to bringing you guys Game 3. Or Game 2, I mean.
Yeah, I was going to say, I like where your head's at, though. I like the optimism, right? Right? I love it.
We want Game 3 always, and especially with TWA, we want Game 3. We didn't get much of a look at them so far, so...
I would like to see TSYMQ take at least force a Game 3, if not win the full series. They've played so well to get to this part of the event. I'd really like to see that.
Mm-hmm. All right. So the next code has been put up. It's WMI 249 David versus Goliath.
Yep, they're just now pasting that into my chat as well. So we'll go ahead and pin that.
Very much appreciate the viewers on all of our channels, just kind of spreading the wealth and the knowledge. It was funny, Raptor. I don't know on yours, on mine, people were like, nope, forfeit, nope, forfeit, no forfeit, like way before we even knew.
Yeah.
It's crazy stuff.
It happens.
Mm-hmm.
It happens. So we do. All right, here we go. Push the button.
Mm-hmm.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Game 2 of this losers bracket final. We're on hotspot. TWA versus TSYMQ. Zath, talk me through the TWA lineup here in the green.
All right, up in the green, looking for another game, another win for TWA to move on to face Rain in the grand finals yet again. They have British in a Lucian in the same build as we saw before. Vile is now in a Smoke Yu Yang. Kaistis is in a Goliath instead of the Mosque we saw him last game in with Outnumbered and Reload. Point in the same build for that Goliath. Kenny Mod once again in that Wooster with both Top Grade Gunner and Outnumbered. We have IKEA in a Hindenburg with the unique upgrade we were talking about last game, plus Top Grade Gunner and Reload. And Silverblade is like, hey, that Devastation looks fun. I want to take that out. And he is currently in that ship with pretty much just your typical full tanky ship, even with enhanced repair readiness, IRR, whatever it's called. He needs 2 million potential damage and gets an extra charge of his heal. He's
there to soak up as much damage as possible.
Yes.
From the south spawn, TSYMQ running their own 2-destroyer lineup. We're looking at Yalwin's Z42. All the gun reload and RPF things making a race for the B cap. We're looking at Requiem's Z52 pushing up like he's going to make a play here at C. He's backed up by Winrow's Salem. We saw this Salem at the last game move over to the B cap. Obviously, we're going to give these guys a different look here. It's the same ships, Zap, but they're going to deploy these things very, very differently.
Yes.
EQ's Colbert, range and heavy HE as you would expect. He's going to lurk near the C cap. Panda's Clausewitz running top grade gunner and Reload, going to kind of ease on over, play the 9-10 line. We're looking at Nuoli's Edgar. Last time we saw Nuoli hang out around the C cap all game. This time he's taking his happy butt over to B with Yawin, and they are backed up on this flank by FLS's Clausewitz. Again, the now somewhat ubiquitous heavy HE and heavy HE build going with rudder and gun reload.
Yep. Yawin stopped, and for a while I thought that meant that there was a disconnect or a restart called. He stopped so that Nuoli's Edgar can catch up to him, and they're going to work together to try to get the middle, probably.
Kind of looking at a traditional 3-4 split here, whereas TWA kind of going for maybe like a 3-2-2 sort of thing. We're seeing the two ships working the edge of the map. That's the Worcester and the Yang. We're seeing the two-tip ship kind of working the top of C. That's the Hindi and the Devastation. And the double Goliath Lucian headed over to A.
IKEA being very aggressive with that Hindenburg going into the C cap, saying, all right, you can have the cap, but we're gonna stop you from getting any points out of it. They did tick up 3, but that's it.
Yep. They grabbed the cap, and now Requiem's going to bail out of there, knowing that as soon as that Hindenburg Hydro button gets pushed, he's going to be under the gun, doesn't want that to happen. Winrow's radar going to go up here and see if they can maybe get somebody to arc some shells over maybe the Colbert here. Nope, nobody's taking these salvos. Oh, wait, here we go.
Oh, yeah.
FLS's Clausewitz is taking them. Just took him a minute to kind of get locked on. Oh, because of the way radar works.
Takes 6 seconds delay, yep.
Yep, that delay is what's going to allow a TWA to pick up the cap to see if they can actually land any damage and begin to farm out IKEA here.
Yeah, and that top rocky outcropping is preventing a lot of the shells from Colbert and even Clausewitz from hitting him. So that demonstrates why the north spawn is very powerful for getting and holding the C cap.
They're landing some damage on IKEA, but none of it particularly significant quite just yet.
Yep.
In the meantime, Vile and Kinnymod very aggressive with this push down the 10 line. Check out how far they've come, Zap.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at it right now, and Vile putting down the smoke so Kinnymod doesn't care. We got some Salem AP coming. Never mind, the island said nope.
Kenny going to get locked up in smoke over here. Salem radar offline for 85 seconds, well out of the range of that radar anyway.
Newly now being brought back in the Edgar. Very interesting to see that. I would have thought they would have tried to keep going, but they're sussing out that TWA is focusing mostly on the 910 line.
I really like this play, Zath. They're going to wish they had the Edgar a little closer than where he is at the moment, but I still like the play. It's going to allow them to possibly trap the Worcester or at least have an impact on that Worcester's position.
Well, now you say that, but if you look, Kinnymod and Vile have already turned away, and I think what they were trying to do is just draw the attention, and then they're going to go someplace else.
Yep.
Or they're going to sit there. They're not going to go past that, because they know if they go past that, we pull up the map view. If they go past that, they're going to be opening themselves up to fire from over here. And they're also going to open themselves up to fire basically from the south as well. So that's the trap that TSYMQ is trying to spring with Edgar.
They have successfully pushed all of these ships back into basically the TSYMQ spawn area with the exception of the Salem.
Yes.
So we'll see what these guys opt to do. Presumably they're going to circle, form up, circle and wheel right or something here. Pull out their inner Joshua Chamberlain. I'm not sure, but they got to do something.
So here's the thing: two ships have now brought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ships from TSYMQ back.
Well, the Salem was already here.
Well, sure, but what I'm getting at though is that only leaves 2 ships out on the western flank. So by demonstrating, by being there and visible, TSYMQ is saying, okay, we know these guys are here, we got to do something about them, and they're almost ignoring the rest of the board, Raptor. That's pretty crazy to think about.
At the moment, yep, there's the Edgar radar coming up. They're going to catch Kinnymod in the smoke. They cannot see Vile. Vile's just ahead of that radar line, but they can see Kinney. Salem AP coming in. Kinney actually maybe in a bit of a pickle here. He's got to hold a very, very tight line. If the Salem can get his lead right, just like that, he's going to start taking some big sits.
Yep, there's the heel that's coming up. But New Orleans the Edgar has only 15 more seconds of radar. I don't know that they'll get enough damage in time. We'll have to see.
No, I don't think they will, but they're going to
double fire
beat the crap out of Kinney and push
Kinney's
him back.
There's the DCP.
Does DCP to put out the fires.
They get him!
The Salem comes in with the big Citadel on the stern. And that's the ball game. The pulling the Edgar back makes the difference there. They pick up a big kill.
Absolutely, yes. So, okay, so that investment paid off for them of 5 ships versus 2. Now it's 4 on 1. But you see now we've got the opportunity, and there's the radar from the Salem. What's the Hindenburg doing? He's already leaving. They know, okay, they can reposition and work their way into the sea cap. Meanwhile, we've got on the other side the Clausewitz and Z-42 making contact with the 2 Goliaths.
Yep.
It's not a battle I'd want to take in FLS.
They're going to have to give a bunch of ground over here, and British's Lushun has cut across the middle of the map. He's going to be on top of that B cap quick as he can. That's not something that Yalwin's going to be able to stay and help defend with 2 HE slinging Goliaths bringing down his neck, because as soon as he gets spotted, he's going to get absolutely hammered.
Mm-hmm.
So they push the Salem into the cap. That's Winrow stepping into C. Only about 140 points behind now is TSYMQ up a ship on the back of that early kill on Kinnymog.
That's right. Now TWA is about to go into the B cap. They'll get that cap going for point ticking as TSYMQ picks up their second cap, C cap, but it only stays 2 caps for a little bit. FLS, though, not looking too good. As a matter of fact, he's asking his buddies, the Z-42, to smoke. FLS is going to try to get behind this island and use that island to block vision on point, while Keistis' vision is blocked from smoke. But Point knows what he's doing, and he's just going to turn.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Spotted.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen here. I think FLS's best chance, if he wants to really break around offside, he's going to have to turn hard to starboard here and get his entire ship behind this little island, because he's now he's taking fire from the Hindenburg or the devastation. The Hindenburg, IKEA to his north now coming in.
Mm-hmm.
He was dark briefly. No, he wasn't. My apologies.
He has not been dark yet.
No, he hasn't.
He's trying to get behind this big island, but you're right. I think it's better place to just head due south. But with Keistis in his position in the Goliath, I mean, there's just no hiding place for FLS. He knows he's out.
Nope. FLS is going out here. Sort of inevitable, and so now that pushes TWA to within about 2 minutes here of a win. They own A, they own B. TSYMQ making a play, successfully grabbing C, but now they've got to figure out how to parlay that into a time extension and hopefully a victory for them.
TSYMQ sending another Clausewitz back to take the position of the one that just died. Feels interesting. The other thing, too, I want to note is you can see the importance of point tick. TSYMQ allowed TWA to tick up points on the C cap for so long. That's why they're only a minute and a half away from victory, despite only losing 1 ship so far.
Oh, and Uoli's Edgar taking big HE. I think he took Citadels through the bow from the devastation HE right there, Zaf. That's how painful that HE is. Yeah. He's trying to cut behind the island here to start getting some of these shots on the devastation for free. The Z-52, Zaf, I think, is trying to take out the Hindi.
Well, and IKEA's got Hydro going, so this feels kind of weird.
They know that they can both see each other. Like, this is not going to be a surprise.
And here comes AP from Devastation. If that was HE, that could have been very different.
Yep. Trying to get the torpedo in caps. Hasn't managed it yet.
Edgar's going for it, too, now.
Edgar can't get those. This feels odd.
There's a second rack.
They're not going to get a trade here. Wow. They threw away their ship and threw away the... I don't understand
the game at the same time.
I don't understand that play at all. You can't throw away a ship once the team gets that close to 1,000 points, and they did it anyway.
Feels very odd. Maybe just a missed time in what they're trying to make happen. But either way, that will be a 2-0 sweep for TWA. Solid game 2. We're going back to TWA and Reign in the grand finals, Raptor.
I'm mightily confused about what I just saw, Zach. I mean, congrats to TWA. They played a clean game. They got done exactly what they needed to get done. But it feels like TSYMQ, like they didn't read the score there at the end or something. I don't really know. Maybe that, or they just thought the intent was get up there and kill the Hindenburg for a time extension. But that's not so easy when he can see you coming, right? Like the hydro was still ticking.
I kind of feel like of course, we're just casting, we're just looking at it from top down or whatever. But I kind of feel like the idea was for the Edgar to come straight out. But then when he took that Citadel in the face, he instinctively said, "I need to get into cover," and I think that slowed down the idea of pincering that Hindenburg at the exact same time from both sides. Either way, it feels really bad, though, because that means you're going to trade 2 ships for 1 because you know the Edgar's going to go down right afterwards anyway, and the Z-52 will probably go down because, like you said, hydro exists. So it just feels weird. Either way, TWA forced a brilliant play at the end to cause that 2-0 sweep, and, well, go get your snacks, guys.
Yep, go get your snack, go get your munchie. I'm going to be doing the same here. We got a few minutes to kill.